What is going on, everybody? My name is Ian and welcome back to another track and field video. So basically the topic of this video we are going to be covering today is we're going to be covering which sort of spikes you should use, whether they're pyramid spikes, needle spikes, 3/16, 1/4, doesn't matter. We're going to be covering all the stuff. We're going to be covering everything you need to know about which spikes you should use. So before we get into the spikes, I just want to thank everybody who subscribed to me right now. We hit 10 subscribers in our first day of YouTube, which I think is pretty crazy, considering none of them are just me, signing into a different account and subbing to this main channel. That's pretty crazy. I know that I didn't hit 10 subs this fast on my old channel, so I just want to thank you all so much for giving me 10 subs. Also, if my eyes look a little red to you guys, it's probably because I've been playing 2 hours of Halo and Fortnite. So, it basically makes your eyes red, makes your eyes strain and all that. So I haven't been possessed by the devil, nothing like that. It's just too much video games. But with all that out of the way, let's get right into today's video. So I'm going to be discussing the different spike lengths, different spike types, and which spikes you should use for each sort of running. So long distance and sprinting, that sort of stuff. Alright, so first let's go over the different type of spikes that you can use. So the first type of spike that we're going to go over is the most common, and this is called the pyramid spike. So basically the name is self-explanatory. It's basically in the shape of a pyramid. Here is one of my pyramid spikes. I know it's not the best angle or the best view, but you can still see the pyramid, the distinct pyramid shape that the spike has. This is the most common spike, so it's used for pretty much every single event in track and then sometimes in cross country, but there are better spikes for cross country, which I'll talk about later. But this is the kind of spike that you would want to use for just a regular track meet. Doesn't really depend on any event. Just as long as you're running, you should probably use the pyramid spike. The other type of spike I'm going to be talking about today is called the needle spike. Basically, it's a more sleek and narrower version of the pyramid spike. It's more pointier, and it's most of the time bigger than the needle spike, than the pyramid spike too. Now, this kind of spike you really wouldn't see on the track. You'd see it more on a cross-country course, because since the spikes sink deeper into whatever you're stepping on, they'd be a lot more ideal for stepping on dirt, grass, rock, that sort of stuff, to where you can grip it easier and just get a faster time overall. San Antonio Spurs lost to Milwaukee Bucks. You know what? Screw this. That wasn't funny. Suicide is not a joke. It's a real cause that we must stand up and fight against. I'm sorry, I can't say this with a serious face. Okay, so enough of all that. Let's get back to the topic. What we're going to be going over now is we're going to be going over different lengths of spikes and which length is appropriate for which type of distance. So the first type of track spike we're going to be going over is we're going to be going over 1/8 inch spikes. Basically, these are the smallest types of spikes you can get. They look like this. This is them in the packaging. I've never really opened them because I've had no use for them because, they're tiny. But just because I don't use those spikes doesn't mean you don't have to use them. What these spikes are used for they are used for sprinting. They're used for more heavy set sprinters. By heavy set, I don't mean fat, just, more muscular, more body weight, just heavier. Basically, the reason you would use shorter spikes is because if you were to use longer spikes, since you weigh more, the spikes would sink deeper into the ground, and since they are longer, they'd sort of act like, like the needle spikes that I was talking about. They wouldn't be appropriate for track because they'd create too much drag and they'd just slow you down. So for that reason, using the smaller spikes would be more beneficial to anyone who's heavier set. Using standard spikes would be better for those, about my weight. Alright, the next length we're going to go over is 1/4 of an inch. These are your standard track spikes that you see on most people, and you would sometimes use these for cross country, but most of the time you would use these for pretty much every single running track and field event. So this is what the spike looks like on my shoe. Basically, you can see it's not as short as the other spikes, but then again, it's not too long to the point where it looks like little daggers coming out the bottom of the shoe. And like I said before, these can basically be used for every single track and field event except for obviously throwing, because you really wouldn't use spikes for those. And they really wouldn't be used for cross country too much. The spikes that we're going to cover next are the ones that you would use for cross country. And the final length we're gonna cover today is 3/8. This is the longest track spike that you can find. Basically what these would be used for, these would be used for cross country pretty much. Because the reason you want to use them for track is obviously they can create too much drag because they're big and you'd have a harder time getting them out of the track. But another interesting fact about these spikes is that on most tracks they're actually illegal. The reason they are illegal is that they sink so deep into the track that they can actually tear up the rubber and make the track basically fall apart. Now, whether or not they're banned in your track and field stadium is probably up to the coaches and up to whoever basically owns it. But just to be sure that you don't get caught with those spikes, I wouldn't wear them at all, because if you get caught, you could potentially be disqualified, and nobody wants to go out with a DQ. And the reason that you would use these spikes for cross country is that since they're so long, they would sink into the ground, get a lot more grip on the grass and the dirt than if you had regular spikes. Because obviously the dirt and the ground, it's not the rubber like the track is, so it's gonna have a harder time sinking in. So those longer spikes, those longer narrow spikes will definitely be better in terms of cross country. And that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you found the tips that I said in the video to be helpful. Hopefully they can make you run faster, and hopefully they can make you choose the correct spike. So if you liked my content, if you like this video, please make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe as well, and also make sure to leave a comment, because I love reading comments. It's probably one of my favorite things about doing YouTube. So just post a comment about what you think. So thank you for watching. Now I'm gonna go eat some pizza because I'm pretty hungry. So I'll see you guys later. Peace out and have an amazing day.